In this video, I'll take a look at some of the basic tools in creating an assembly video, and then I'll show you just enough to get started. You will have to spend some time getting comfortable in the software, and there are a lot of unique and custom opportunities, options, ways to set this up that I can't possibly address in a decently concise video. So absolutely ask questions. If you find that you're spending more than 20 minutes trying to do a single thing, take a break, get some help from another student, a tutor, a faculty member like myself. So one of the things that you'll find is at the bottom tab you have model views. You also have this motion study tab. And so I've got my assembly in the exploded configuration, and I'm going to come here and hover over this tool right here. It's called Animation Wizard. And so Animation Wizard allows me to perform a particular task. For example, I can rotate my model in space and create a video. I can explode it. That's not as interesting as collapsing it. How does this assemble? That's really the piece I want to document. And so we're going to go ahead and hit next. I can tell it to take a particular amount of time. Let's say I want this to take 10 seconds and I want it to start at time equals 0. I'm going to click finish, and now SolidWorks has inserted quite a lot of automated movement based on the steps in my exploded view. So while it might not be appropriate or applicable in these small assemblies for the projects that you've completed on your own, when you think about your final design project, you're going to have a lot more exploded steps. One of the reasons I suggest exploding things in the way that you would physically take it apart if it was sitting on the table in front of you is because it makes for a much better assembly video that requires a lot less editing. So let's see what it looks like. I'm going to hit play, and one of my steps must have been raising the table head. So I bring two table legs together, and I bring all of them into the table leg. And I must have this on loop, so I want just normal. At the end, I want to see it all set up. Okay, so that's my assembly video, and that's a real basic one. I haven't modified this at all. Now let's say from 10 to 12 seconds, I want to change my view. So I'm going to move my black diamond here, and I'm going to change my view maybe to a dimetric. And let's see where I have, I'm going to place a key. And if you didn't see that, I'll undo it. So I come to my dimetric. I want to right click and place a key there. And that's for my orientation setting. And let's just see what happens when I have this whole black line here. So I'm going to go ahead and click play. And so now what you see is for the duration of the video, my camera view is changing a little bit. As someone who is susceptible to motion sickness, when videos are constantly moving and panning and rotating, I actually find it really hard to watch. So last tip here, I'm holding the control key down on my keyboard to copy a key. I'm going to hold the control key while I drag one over here. And now I'm going to stay at the same view while everything gets assembled. And at the very end, I'll pan around and zoom in a little bit. So that is a very concise but easy to view video. Now, if you have some parts on the front and the back, you could also decide, oh, at some point I need to rotate to this view so that I can see the legs doing something interesting, and then right click here and I can place another key there. Keep in mind that these black lines mean it's moving, so I probably want, to copy these keys using my control keys so that I'm moving for a little bit rather than all the time. This looks like it's superfluous. So, we can try that from the beginning, see what that looks like, and you can move these keys around. Yeah, that's obviously a terrible orientation decision. So that should be enough to get you started. Explore a bit, try it out. Last bit is to save animation. You can save this as an AVI file or a series of bitmaps and stuff. So you can save a copy of this and submit that in your assembly files, in your zip file. So that concludes this video, and please do bring your questions to class and office hours.